He is a 12-year veteran of the National Football League, 7-time Pro Bowler in his days, all of them with the Chicago Bears. Pleased to have here on the Rich Eisen Show in the flesh. Good to see you, Lance Briggs.
Good to see you, Rich. It's been a while.
It has been a while. Used to have you all the time on Bears Cam on NFL Total Access.
Yeah.
Guys, one of my favorite stories. What year was this, Lance?
This was,
what year was this?
07.
You were holding out.
Yeah.
You were not happy with your contractual situation with the Bears.
Nope.
And you came on Total Access and on live television with me interviewing you with Rod Woodson.
I was in Tucson, Arizona.
The GOAT, Rod Woodson, says, stop holding out, go back to camp, is what you said.
I held back a lot on that one. I held back a lot. I was, I was a little upset. Right? I was a little upset with the organization at the time because they wanted me to, they literally told me, we want you for 1 year and then that's it. And so, I'm talking with my agent and I'm like, well, I would want to be here for long term. If they don't want me long term, then let me seek a trade. I want to find somewhere that somebody wants me long term, and this is after, fulfilling all 4 years. I fulfilled all 4 years, with no chance of a new deal into that 4 year or into the third year, into that fourth year. So at this point, I was a little upset.
And then just talk about awkward. Here's the GOAT. Basically, he didn't even tell me he was going to tell you this. I think it was live television,
It was
too.
live. Oh, it was live. It was live. There was a long pause after he said it.
That's right. It was really awkward at the time. But and you re-signed with the Bears. You spent your whole days with Chicago Bears. Now you're covering the Bears. You're doing that during the season, part of the paparazzi.
Yeah, I'm on Comcast. And
what do you make of the current state of the Chicago Bears, Lance Briggs?
Well, at least we're pressing forward. We're pressing forward. The rebuild process started, and I think that at this point now it's kind of not completed, but it's the past has been moved beyond.
So Glennon, is he a starting quarterback in the National Football? I guess we're going to find out.
We're going to find out.
But he's the guy there right now.
Right. The thing about Mike Glennon is he's a guy that if he succeeds, great. If he doesn't succeed, there's not going to be a long question about, okay, do we need to hold on to this guy a little bit longer because, of his history, of his potential and this and that. It's going to be it'll be an easier break than it was with number 6 over the last 8 years. And that's not.
Can you say his name?
Cutler, Okay.
Well, because what does it mean that the team said, we're going to kick the tires on Mike Glennon? We're going to give him the opportunity that he was afforded briefly in Tampa and then couldn't play his way into in Tampa. We're going to give him that opportunity here, even though we had Cutler at $12.5 million, which in this day and age is kind of dirt cheap. What should we read into that?
Well, it just means we need to move forward. We have to move forward. We're the new regime coming in after the last regime that didn't work so well, and we have to make some decisions that we had a lot of pressure. There's a lot of pressure from outside for us to rebuild this team into a winner. And
so had Cutler worn out his welcome?
Would you put it that way? You had 8 years a chance. I had 12 years. And I didn't win a Super Bowl. He had 8 years and he didn't make it happen, just like me. So it's time to move on.
What do you mean, just like you? You made a Super Bowl, Lance, if I'm not mistaken.
Didn't win it.
It's funny. I had Urlacher here in the seat a couple months ago. He kind of danced around the subject too.
Yeah, I play defense. I play defense, and so the offensive side of the ball. We never really worried about the offensive side of the ball, and even in games where we made a lot of plays where we scored touchdowns, it was always our fault if we didn't win a game. It was never the offense's fault. And that's the way we had to approach each game. You have to do more on defense in order to win games.
Lance Briggs here on the Rich Eisen Show. Last one on Cutler. Based on what you've seen and heard, the rap on him is he does not care. Does he care?
I think he cares. I'm not gonna say he doesn't care. I just don't believe that he doesn't care. And the teammates that have been with him these last 2 years, they've said nothing but positive things. When I played with him, he competed. He definitely competed, and I know that people didn't like the way that he had his facial expressions. Or anything like. I don't think his facial expressions have anything to do with whether he cares or not about football.
So now, moving forward for you, with Score right now,
With a Q.
this is with a Q, SQOR. I'm on it. I'm on it. You're on it.
Yep.
Hasselbeck's on it. Steve Smith's on it. There's a bunch of football players on it. You know, Mooch is on it.
Yeah.
Well, Mooch is on it because if Brett Favre asks Mooch to jump, and Mooch can't even jump an inch, he'll say how high. You know, it's just find that interesting that you're part of a social media with Brett Favre.
Well,
I'm at, how social were you with Favre when it was Green Bay versus Chicago back in the day, Lance?
The only conversations we had, or the only dialogue we had, was if I had an interception, and I might have taken that to the house, but or he was throwing touchdowns on us.
Well, we're showing that to the television audience.
This is my first one right here. Oh, this is my first interception
Favre
in the
just
NFL
threw up
right here.
Was it really? It was just a gimme.
Yeah, it was. It wasn't a gimme to me, though. The ball hung in the air for at least an hour.
Favre just flung it without looking at it.
Yeah.
That was, and then so there you are celebrating.
Look at that. They don't even know how to celebrate right there. And Alex Brown doesn't know how to celebrate with me.
So now Favre called you up, or you got a call from them saying what's going on?
No, it was just sitting down with the team, and they were asking me about what I've been doing since I left football, and I was telling them about all the different things that I was doing. You know, I'm commuting Chicago and Phoenix, and going to school and working with youth and football and working on golf charity events and they're saying, wow, you're doing so many things. And I said, yeah, you know, I just want to keep my plate full so that you know, I keep my brain working, you know, and always feed my brain. And so they say, well, why do you do that? And I said, well, to fill a gap that football left, for one. And then the other is to keep CTE away, you know, and so that opened the doors to the project we're doing now, which is called Time of My Life.
Time of My Life. It showcases you juggling that schedule as a student broadcaster, philanthropist, comic book developer.
Yes,
really?
Absolutely. I have a comic book out there right now.
Of you? Is it Super Briggs, Super Lance?
It's not based off of me. See, I have a teammate, ex-teammate, Israel Adonijah.
Oh, sure.
Who's into the same thing, and he says, well, the comic book's not about me, but the lead character looks exactly like Israel Adonijah.
Okay. That's because we don't want to give him any credit or royalties.
Right.
Dad, how many kids you have?
4.
4 kids. So do you want to make a LeVar Ball type demand on a shoe company right now for your kids?
No, I'm not. No,
come on, let's get it out there.
Not at all.
Like if LeVar wants $1 billion for his 3, what are the 4 Briggs kids worth right now? Come on now.
The 4 priceless love.
That's it.
They're worth priceless love.
Okay. Now, when you say keep the CTE away, what do you mean by that, Lance?
It means that there are a lot of players that have come before me, you know, and there are a lot of things that happened that a lot of us didn't see coming, and with the movie Concussion coming out, the new concussion protocol, you know, the real concussion protocol in the NFL, you know, wasn't until my last year and a half or so in the league, you know, so the disease is new, you know, and I just want people to understand what it's like to live with it, you know, knowing that I do have it, and most of us do have it. I think all football players have it.
You know you have it right now?
I know we all have it. We all have it. We all have it.
Are you assuming that, or have you been tested, or I don't know if there's really any sort of test for it, but technically.
Right, exactly.
Until
until
it's cost you.
Exactly. And so the point of the matter is to keep it to before it gets to that point where it's obvious, you know, without having to cut open my brain and stuff like that. Do
you feel something?
No, yeah, but it's and it does affect daily life, you know, and it's more of something that some of those that are around me say, yeah, I can see where this issue, or you're stuttering a little bit, or your memory, you know, lapses here and there, and I think it's something. And there's also some symptoms that I don't even know how to explain. You know, I don't even know how to explain. It's just, you know, during my me time or speaking with another football player, where it's like, you know, you have this situation, man, I have this situation, and I don't even know how to explain it. You know, I'm the same way. You know, so but for me, it's just creating the right practice, you know, to and preventative measure before trying to prevent getting to a specific level.
Sure. I've got Lance Briggs here on the Rich Eisen Show. And again, you go to SQOR.com/Time of My Life, available for download in both the Apple App Store and Google Play, just like our app right here. It's just, I find it interesting you and Favre are teamed up.
It's a good match, I think.
Yeah.
Good match. We sat down a couple years ago and talked some football. Actually, I thought it was going to be a quick talk. It actually was Bears-Packers football, but we ended up talking for a good hour or so.
That's neat. That's great. And most important question I may have asked you, obviously, outside of the CTE. Most important question. What do you think of Urlacher's new hair, Lance?
I can tell you right now, and I say this over and over, I think the hair looks good on him.
Okay.
I think it was worth it. And there are other stars out there that are having a restoration type of hair. And I think that Urlacher is definitely the best one out there.
Well, interesting. Brockman, take off your Red Sox hat. Chris Brockman and I, when Urlacher was here, we called him the Benedict Arnold of the Bald Brotherhood.
Yes.
He's left us behind, Lance.
Yeah.
And he's professing to be somebody he's not. That's the way we view it. That's the way we view it. You know?
You don't believe?
No, I'm just saying he's turning his back on all of us. He was a proud member of the Bald Brotherhood, a face of the Bald Brotherhood.
Either you're with us or you're against us. That's the way we view it.
I think sometimes you got to go out on and this is a fan vote. You got to get a fan vote on this and see what the people out there want.
The funny thing is when Urlacher was here, Dion was sitting at home and watching and called in, even though he had the flu, to talk about how he schooled Urlacher once in ping pong. Okay, and then the two of them went back and forth. Dion showed up to the combine this year and was wearing like a ski hat on the field. And the reason why is he went and he's got the restoration project right now.
Is that right?
Yes, and he says by September he's going to go full afro.
Wait, is that why he had a ski hat on?
Yeah.
Wow.
So he's joined Urlacher too, leaving us behind.
He inspired a lot of my friends. A couple of my friends made the call within a week of finding out. Yeah.
And how did they do it? How are they doing? How are they doing? Did they do it?
I mean, they're probably going to be a little upset with me right now, but they're doing good. They're doing good right now.
I don't know if I believe you on that good thing. So check it out, score.com, SQOR.com/Time of My Life. Love seeing you, Lance Briggs.
Thanks, Rich.
Anytime you're in Los Angeles, you've got a home right here. We'll talk maybe during the season when the Bears are
improving.
Are who we thought they were. You played in that game, right?
I was there.
That night of the Bears
One
who we
of the
thought
best
they were?
games I've ever been a part of.
What a comeback.
Yeah. Defense, special teams.
That was something else. I think you didn't even score an offensive touchdown that night, if I'm not mistaken.
All defense and capitalized with Devin Hester.
And if it wasn't for you, the Bears, who we thought they were, would never have happened.
Yes, rest in peace, Denny Green.
I know that. One of the all-time great people as well. Lance Briggs, at Lance Briggs on Twitter, and of course on Score, SQOR.com/Time of My Life to follow what's going on with Lance.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.